All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from New Holland Brewing, and they're out of Holland, Michigan, and this is their Dragon's Milk Reserve, the 2020 Reserve 3 variant. So they're calling this one a bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout that is brewed with vanilla and chai spices, comes in 11% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed in time of review. This bottle is just under 2 months old. So earlier this year, I reviewed the Reserve 1, which was a rum barrel-aged like adjunct beer, and it was quite thin. The rum was way overpowering, and it's probably one of my least favorite Dragon's Milk Reserve beers. And then they released the Reserve 2, which I didn't get my hands on. I think it was marshmallow and chocolate. Sounded pretty good. But then I saw this one, and I was like, I thought they brewed this one before, and then I read the back, and they did. It says, a throwback to one of our favorite releases. The final Reserve of 2020 was aged for 3 months in select bourbon barrels. Deep roasted notes from premium malts combined with the sweet tones of vanilla and a blend of delicious chai spices to create an experience made to be savored. Now, I thought I picked up that release. I think it was back in 2016 or 17. And I thought it might be in my cellar. I did not see it. So I'm going to do a little bit more of a, I'll do a little bit more of a search into the beer to see if I have it on hand. But if so, I might review it in the near future just to see if the difference between one that's been aged for 3 years or 40 years and one that's fresh. But we'll see. I don't think I have it on hand, but we'll see. Anyway, let's crack this one open and get it into the glass. I'm using my Bring Out Your Dead glass from the Bellwoods Brewery. Why? Because it's a fucking fantastic glass, and you know, with how everything is with the pandemic and not being able to go to Canada and drink any Bellwoods beers and everything, I don't get to use this glass all that much. So I'm using it now. Fuck it. Here we go. So yeah, that's the one thing about these Dragon's Milk beers is they don't pour out like motor oil. For 11%, you'd think they would be like motor oil. They pour out like this cola-looking color. And I think that might be something to do with why I always think these are thin. But anyway, yeah, it kind of looks like cola. It really does. Brown here at the bottom, the way it poured, the way it looks in the glass. It has about a half, really like a third of a finger of this light brown colored head. But that looks like a cola in the glass, honestly. Let's get a nose. So the one thing that I am thinking with this beer is that if you don't like chai spices, you're not going to like this beer, right? That's pretty obvious. And yeah, in the nose, tons of chai spices. So getting the chai spices, definitely getting the vanilla. The spices are very prominent in your face. Getting a little bit of bourbon. Roasted malts, chocolate, but mostly the chai spices are screaming off the top of this one. Yeah, it goes chai spices, vanilla, roasted malt, and then like bourbon. A little bit of chocolate and like caramel undertones. But yeah, it's hard to get past those chai spices, and honestly, let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Wow. Actually has a big bourbon kick for only 3 months and not really getting the nose. All right, so let's just get out of the way, because most people I talk to, most people that drink the Dragon's Milk Reserve series, they pretty much have a similar opinion to me. The vast majority, some I'm sure differ, but these beers are always thin. This is like higher side of medium body. It's 11%. I want something that's thick, that's viscous, somewhat. It doesn't need to be chewy. It just has to be, the viscosity has to be big. And these are like medium to like slightly over medium. 11% is super thin. The mouthfeel is soft, it's smooth, a little bit of creaminess, enough carbonation. The mouthfeel is not the issue for me. It's always the body of these beers. And the body is always underwhelming. It's always thin. It's probably always going to be that way. So I'm not really surprised. It doesn't even upset me anymore, just because that's what I kind of expect from the series. The taste is pretty nice though. Lots of chai spices up front. If you don't like chai tea or you don't like the chai spice blend, then you're probably not going to like this beer, just plain and simple. Hits me at the front of the palate. And then vanilla. And then like a chocolate, almost roasted malt character. And then right mid-palate, I get a big blast of bourbon, which I wasn't really getting in the nose. This beer is a little bit boozy at 2 months old. It's not super boozy, but I can taste a little. A lot of people like to say it's hot. It's hot on the palate. Oh my God, it's burned my face off. No, it's hot. It is boozy on the palate. I feel a big warming in the chest and the stomach. So this one probably needs a good 6 months to a year to kind of calm down the booziness. But at that point, I feel like the vanilla and the chai spices will start to fall off, which makes me think that if I do find that 2016 or 17 vanilla chai spice variant, I need to review it just to see how it did fall off. It has a little bit of like a vanilla Coke vibe to it. If that makes any sense. Now I'm tasting it. I love vanilla Coke, so like I can't say it's bad. It actually tastes pretty good. The finish is slightly, we'll say semi-dry. Really no bitters to speak of. To me, this isn't a crazy sweet beer or anything, which is nice. There's a lot of malt sweetness up front, and you get that vanilla, everything. But I think the chai spices in conjunction with the alcohol and like an oak tannin kind of bourbon presence kind of stops it from being too sweet. I think it actually balances out quite well. Not my favorite variant, but it's damn good, honestly. But again, the caveat being chai spices. You either love them or you hate them. To me, I really like chai spices. I like chai tea. I like chai spices. So this is going to hit harder for me in a positive manner than it is for somebody who doesn't like them. Then again, if you don't like chai spices, you're probably not picking this one up, right? So anyway, I think this is a pretty good beer. The 11%, like I said, you can taste it. The chai spices are there. The vanilla is there. You get the adjuncts. You get the bourbon barrel aged presence. The only, like, I think taste-wise and like experience-wise and what I like from just the flavors and everything, this is like a 4.25 out of 5 for me, honestly. Some of you might be like, wow, that's real high, but I like the flavors here. But I got to knock it down because it's quite boozy. The body's really thin. And yeah, that's pretty much the main two things. Like if the body was thicker and the, I think if the body was thicker and I got more of just like a not a super boozy hot experience, I think this would be like high 4.25 into like a low 4.5. But as is, I got to knock it down from 4.25. So I'm going to give Dragon's Milk Reserve, the 2020 Reserve 3 variant, I'm going to give that a straight on 4 out of 5. I think that's what it deserves from my palate. Like I said, have to knock it down because of the body and the booziness. But I get the chai spices, I get the vanilla, I get the base stout, I get the bourbon. It's just, it's not completely a fantastic beer or anything. So yeah, anyway, excuse me. Price and availability wherever you see New Holland beers. A lot of places won't get all the reserves, but I think here in Western New York, we saw all the reserves of 2020. So if you get New Holland, you should see most of the reserves. And price point, I believe I paid like $5 for this bottle. I think they're like $19, $20 a 4-pack. That's what you're going to pay for something that's 11% that has adjuncts and is barrel aged. That's the reality. So it's a fine, I mean, the price point is what it is. For this beer, I think it's fine. Like if you're going to go in and try a 11% bourbon barrel aged beer with vanilla and chai spices, you're going to pay $5 a bottle. That's what you're going to pay. So I can't really get too upset about that. So yeah, if you've had this one before, definitely post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Did you think it was thin? Did you think the viscosity was great? Were the chai spices overwhelming? Did you get the barrel? Did you think it was boozy? I don't mind the booziness. Shout out to Sadiq. I know Sadiq, if you watch this, you're going to be like, it's 11%. You should taste the booze. And I'm fine with that. But there's so many fucking beers that are 10 or 11% that hide the alcohol better than this. I don't mind the warming in the chest. I don't mind the warming into the stomach. When it's on my palate and slightly astringent, that's where it loses me a little bit. So that's what this one is, a little bit astringent on the palate. I don't mind knowing it's a bigger beer and it's boozy. It's just when it gets on the palate and kind of fucks with the rest of the flavors, I get kind of upset about that. So yeah, anyway, 4 out of 5. Like I said, if you had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Till the next one. Cheers.